All right, it's a beautiful but windy morning here in South Louisiana. Getting an early start today. The sun's not up yet, but I've come into a cove that I'm gonna make a quick drift in, see if I can catch some speckled trout on topwater baits. I've got an H2O Express TWP tied on, kind of a smaller profile bait, which I really like this time of year. I don't know, let's see if anything bites it. Here's that TWP. Speckled trout love this thing. I throw it really more for bass in the marsh, but I've caught a ton of trout on this thing. Only bad thing is with this wind, can't really throw it all that far. It's a super light bait. Oh, missed him. That was a great hit. That was definitely a speckled trout. That was a good one too. You'd be shocked at the size of trout that'll hit this little bait. That was a good trout for sure. I felt him for a minute. He just didn't get the hooks. All right, last cast. Then we're gonna move on, heading to the marsh, see if we can find some trout and whatever else wants to bite. We had our one good blow up, but we missed him. Gotta execute. You're not gonna get a lot of bites doing this. Gotta make the most of the ones that do hit. All right, time to mosey, let's go. All right, I made a bit of a run and that sun's gotten up, but I'm gonna stick with this TWP just for a few casts. I am hearing some fish hit on top, no telling what they are. But before that sun gets too high, I'm gonna throw this thing. Definitely ups the fun factor. All right, nothing wants to play on top this morning. It's all right, we got other options. Can't force what isn't there. All right, I'm gonna see if we can jig up some fish with a shrimp creole matrix shad on a 1/4 ounce death grip jig head. Oh, there's a fish. I'm not sure what this is, but he is not a giant. Don't know what this is. Speckled trout's looking like. Yep, keeper. Definite keeper. Bigger than I thought he was. He smacked me. I set the hook, missed him, and then he came right back and drilled it. Hooked him outside the mouth. Definitely a bad sign. Long, skinny trout. Ow. Dude, that hurt. Got something sharp on his gills. All right, let's see if that guy had friends. Oh, there's another one. Shoot, I missed him. That was a good hit. Oh, shoot. That was a really good hit. He was hooked up for a second. So our wind is starting to die. Never a bad thing. Never complain about that. Still blowing a little bit, but not enough to keep the gnats away. You know, this is definitely gnat season. You get a mild day this time of year, and if the wind's not blowing, they come out the woodwork. Fortunately, I did bring my Marsh Romance. Just gotta take the time to put it on. All right, I can't take this another second. Gotta put the Marsh Romance on. This stuff, you cannot leave the dock without it this time of year. It's worth its weight in gold. I always hate to stop fishing to put it on, but I'm always so glad I did. Night and day difference. Nothing seems to want my shrimp creole matrix shad today. Caught that one trout on it and no bite since. I'm gonna throw this Pro's Choice soft stick bait in red fog color. Got this under a quarter ounce tungsten weight. I love fishing Texas rigs. It's because they force me to slow down. When I fish a jig head, I tend to fish it a lot faster. Ooh. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. That was a good hit. There's a fish. What the heck is that? Is that a trout? No, it's a bass. It's a beautiful bass. Oh my goodness, that's a nice marsh bass. Come on, dude. All right. All right, good bass. Barely hooked. This poor guy's super unlucky. Look at that. That's a chunky fish. Love to see it. Ooh. Oh, you This is insane. God, man. Suck, man. God. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. All right, I'm getting an absolute million short strikes. The fish just are not committing today. Try and throw this exposed hook again. See if that makes a difference. Yep, there's one. Made a difference for that one. That's a small, but I think maybe borderline keeper speck. That's gotta be what's tagging me, man. Bite after bite after bite. I don't know, I'm thinking this guy might be short. Let's see. Yeah, he's too little. We gotta let him go. That's what keeps hitting me is all these little trout. There's another one. Wow. Well, that answers that question. It's good to know at least. I mean, I was throwing that Pro's Choice. I was getting hit every cast, and I could not get a hook in a fish. The exposed hook on this matrix is leading to a better hookup ratio. There's another one. That feels like a better fish. Can't see it, it's right in the sun, but yeah, that's a better trout. That's a much better trout. Yeah, there we go. All right. And look how deep this dude took it. All right, I came upon this little Trinos mouth, and it looks kind of grassy, so I'm switching back to this Pro's Choice soft stick bait. Looks like a good place for a redfish to be hiding. Maybe a bass or two. Oh, what is that? Oh, big bass. Oh, gosh, dang it, he came off. Oh, that was a beautiful bass. Oh, shoot. Well, I thought there might be a bass there. There's a fish. Baby, baby, baby. Hooked my own tail, so I didn't land him, but he was not big. There are a million small specks in this marsh. I'd say oh, goodness. Oh, God dang it. Missed another one. They're just not taking the bait. I'd say I've hooked maybe 5% of the bites I've gotten. It's just incredible. Lots of fish, lots of bites. Like that fish just now, that was a good fish. That wasn't a baby. Just didn't get the bait deep. So I'm about at the end of the line for this little bayou that I'm in. I'm gonna work my way back out with the tide. I wanna put more of these fish in the boat and try a couple of different things that hopefully tip the scales in my favor. Now, believe me, I think a lot of these fish are undersized, but I know I've gotten some bites from some decent fish. All right, back in a flash, gonna tie on some different baits. All right, I've decided to go with Old Faithful, lavender shad colored SB57. So I figure these exposed hooks are gonna limit those fish's ability to kind of hit the bait and not get hooked. Although, you know, if you throw hard plastics, it's amazing how often they tail slap it and just blow up near it without getting the hooks. But I figure this will put the odds a little more in my favor. I'm also gonna throw a cork. When I was passing through a little area up here, I saw, ooh, man, something hit me. Dadgummit. I saw a bunch of bait. Oh, that's a good trout. Oh, that's a good trout. There we go. Spot lock, we'll see if we get him in. Yes. Trout love the SB. Trout love it. You think it's a bass bait? Let everybody else think that. Throw the SB. That's what's been hitting me. I know it. I know it's these trout. They're just not committing. This dude barely got one of the hooks, but he got it good enough that he's gonna take a boat ride home. Yeah, you got it good. Let's get those pliers. Well, it's nice to make a bait change and have it work. Oh, there's another one. I don't know, bass, trout, I don't know what it is. It looks nice though. It's a trout, it's a good one. Oh yeah, might be a bass. Yeah, it's a bass. There we go. Back-to-back cast. Speckled trout, largemouth bass. This dude got both hooks. Oh, there's one. Oh, speckled trout. Oh, this is awesome. This is awesome. Yes. You just don't know. You just don't know when you get a hit. What is it? Speckled trout, bass, could be a redfish, and they're hitting this thing furiously. Furiously. Oh, there's a fish. Oh, what are you? Gotta be a red. Or a nice trout. Yeah, nice trout. Oh, goodness, look at that. All right, that's a really, really pretty trout. Man, love when they get hooked like this. Well, I'm not gonna let him go. I kind of had to tear up his face to get that hook out. These are all those fish that were hitting me on the way in that I couldn't get hooks in. So you can probably tell, but the way I like to fish this SB is throw it up close to the grass. This shoreline has a nice rim of submerged aquatic vegetation, and just twitch it back. The twitches are the key, in my opinion. So many of these bites come on the pause, and I don't pause it long. I probably should pause it longer, particularly as we get later in the season, but I like to cover water. They crush it on that pause. Oh, like that one, he crushed it. Oh. Oh, what a beautiful trout. All right. I tell you, pick up an SB, you won't regret it. This is the bait today, and it's just so fun. It's so much fun getting these bites on hard plastics. When they're aggressive like this, they just stop it. And people who have seen me fish this bait in previous videos often ask where they can get it. It's a Bill Lewis product, same guys who make rattle trap. So most tackle shops have them. If your local tackle shop does not, you can get them off their website, rattletrap.com. This bayou I'm fishing is about 5 feet deep, and the way I fish this bait runs about 2 to 3 feet. I think those fish are coming up from the bottom when it passes over their heads. These fish are all over, but they're not really concentrated yet, if that makes sense. Getting lots of bites all over the place, really super scattered. That's gonna change. We've got a big front coming. In fact, by the time you see this, it probably will have already been through, and that's just gonna concentrate those fish. And the reason why is because it dumps so much bait out of the marsh, so they stack up in areas that are funneling bait through. Right now, there's bait everywhere, so they don't really need to stack up. They can feed everywhere. So I noticed coming in here, when I was working my way in, the mouth of this bayou at this pond right here, it's about 2 feet deeper than the actual bayou. Then it goes up into the pond. Pond's like 1.5 feet, 2 feet. So I'm gonna post up right here, spot lock, and throw a cork that way. Tide's going that way. And I like fishing corks against the tide. I just do. It's not conventional, I know, but I think it's more productive. I'll make a few casts here and see if I can get any trout to bite. Oh, there's one. There we go. Right where they should be. We'll see if he stays buttoned up, because I bet he didn't take it deep either. It's like a small keeper. Yeah, there we go. Yep, he didn't take it deep. But he is a keeper. I'll just check him just to be sure, but he looks about 13 or so. Yep, he's 13. Oh, missed him. That was a good takedown. I don't know how I missed that fish. And there's me back. Oh, shoot. Just how it is today. Just how it is. They're not taking the bait deep at all. Ooh, that's a nice trout. Relatively nice. And he's surfing on in. There we go, good fish, good fish. It's about a 15-incher maybe 14. Man, look at the spots on this fish, loaded with spots. And he took it deep, that's good to see, that's why we got him in. All right, and by the way, I'm throwing this power prawn. You've seen this bait all fall on a 1/16 ounce death grip jig head. This thing's just been so productive for me. I got it about 3 feet or so below a Versamax bolt. Been throwing this bolt all fall as well, and it's really been productive. Of course, I like the Versamax corks because you can adjust your leader length, which I do often. And there's another trout. Yep, I figured they'd be there. I figured they'd be at that area where that water rises up into that pond. Just so good looking. All right, another beautiful trout. All right, this guy, he's about 15 inches. He's about as big as I like to keep, so I'm gonna put a tag in him and let him go. It's nice knowing you, big fella. I made some really good fish tacos the other day. I'll have to do a cooking segment on it so you can see how to do them. It's kind of got my mouth watering catching these fish. I'm not gonna keep many today. That's why I don't mind letting go at fish we just let go. I'd rather keep the smaller ones anyway. I like those 12-inch speckled trout, which will soon likely be undersized in Louisiana. For those who haven't heard yet, Louisiana Wildlife and Fisheries Commission issued a notice of intent to change the limit to 13.5 inches and 15 fish total. Currently, you can catch 25, minimum of 12 inches. Now, I used to keep 25 every trip, or every trip I was fortunate enough to catch that many. I don't do that anymore though. The older you get, the more you realize, oh, shoot, missed him. The older you get, the more you realize these resources are not unlimited. Come on, take it. And I love to eat fish, but I like catching them even more. So I typically take enough for a meal or two. Oh, you dirty dog. And then I release the rest. All right, I'm gonna make one more cast and then I'm gonna head home. It's not late, but I got a lot to do today. People think my life is all fishing and producing videos. There's a lot more behind the scenes that I gotta take care of. Unfortunately, because I'd love to stay out here all day. Love this time of year, love this style of fishing. But I like going home hungry. It makes you look forward to the next time you get out here. So hopefully you enjoyed the video and got something out of it. It was a blast putting it together. If you could, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe. And until next time, if we don't see you in the marsh, we'll see you right here on Marshman Masson. Go down, Court, go down.